Welcome back to Movie Recaps. Today we're diving into the 2020 survival thriller titled Greenland. As always, a major spoiler warning is in effect. We begin on a massive construction site where structural engineer John Garrity is managing a high-pressure project. Two men discuss the ongoing delays, and it's clear that John, the site manager, is frustrated with the situation. Later, while driving home, John listens to a radio broadcast regarding a newly discovered interstellar comet set to pass close to Earth. He arrives in a quiet suburb and approaches his front door, appearing hesitant to enter. Inside, we find his wife, Allie, training on a treadmill. The couple shares a visibly awkward conversation regarding their son, Nathan, and his upcoming birthday party. Nathan soon arrives, thrilled to see his father back home. In Nathan's room, they discuss a drawing he made of the approaching comet, named Clarke. As they relax on the bed, we learn a critical detail. Nathan is a diabetic. Their conversation also reveals that John and Allie are currently separated. Later that evening, the family gathers in the living room to watch the news. The interstellar body is accelerating toward Earth, accompanied by a vast trail of icy fragments. That night, John is seen staying in the guest room, highlighting the rift in his marriage. The next morning, John listens to further updates on the comet. Analysts suggest that while some fragments may impact Earth, there is supposedly no reason for alarm. While John prepares the grill for the party, Allie asks him to head to the store for last-minute supplies. While in the parking lot with Nathan, they notice the crowd looking up in awe as the comet becomes visible in the sky. Inside the store, John suddenly receives a presidential alert on his phone, followed by an urgent automated call. Confusion sets in as John realizes he is the only one in the store receiving the message. He is informed that he, his wife, and his son have been selected for emergency relocation to a secure shelter. The same alert flashes on the TV at home, though Allie remains unaware. John quickly rushes Nathan out of the store. During the drive home, he observes a heavy military presence and aircraft moving in the opposite direction. When they arrive, their friends and neighbors have already gathered for the party. John pulls Allie into the kitchen to see if she received the alert. She initially dismisses it as a test, but John is deeply unsettled by the military mobilization he witnessed. They return to the living room where the guests are watching the news, expecting to see a fragment splash harmlessly into the Atlantic Ocean. As the children playfully count down to the impact, the mood is light, until the timer hits 0. For a moment, there is total silence, followed by a sudden tremor. John steps outside, noticing a flock of birds fleeing in panic just before a massive shockwave hits the house. Inside, the news report takes a terrifying turn. The newscaster announces that a fragment has struck a city in Florida, sending a shockwave felt for thousands of miles. The city has been completely leveled. As orbital footage of the impact is broadcast, the world realizes the true danger. John suddenly receives another presidential alert. The alert plays simultaneously on his phone and the TV for everyone to see. The room goes silent as the message clarifies that John's selection is non-transferable. He can only bring his immediate family. He receives a unique security code for boarding on his phone. As the guests flee in a panic, John and Allie begin packing, deeply concerned about having enough insulin for Nathan. Outside, Nathan observes the horizon and tells his father that the sky appears to be on fire. Pulling out of the driveway, they pass friends who were not selected for evacuation. One neighbor mentions reports of a massive fragment nicknamed the Planet Killer, which is expected to strike Earth in just 2 days. Another neighbor begs them to take her daughter, but John is forced to refuse, knowing they would only be turned away at the airbase. The drive is harrowing, with scenes of early looting and civil unrest. Blocked by a massive traffic jam, John is forced to take a side road. Radio broadcasts warn of additional impacts that could trigger an extinction-level event. They finally arrive at a military airbase under heavy guard. The family pushes through a desperate crowd and gains entry, using their unique barcode. Once inside, they are issued identification wristbands and instructed to condense their belongings into a single smaller bag. In the confusion, they realize Nathan's insulin is missing. John rushes back to the car to retrieve it. While he's gone, Allie mentions Nathan's diabetes to the soldiers. This backfires when a superior officer informs her that individuals with chronic conditions are ineligible for the flight. Despite her pleas, she and her son are escorted out of the base. John returns and boards a plane, unaware his family has been rejected. On board, another passenger notices John's insulin and explains the military's strict health protocols. Panicked, John demands to leave the aircraft. Suddenly, a mob breaches the base and opens fire on the military. John's plane suffers a fuel leak, and he narrowly escapes before the aircraft explodes in a massive chain reaction. John eventually discovers that Allie and Nathan were rejected. By the time he makes it back to the parking lot, the car is empty. Nathan is already running low on insulin. He finds a note from Allie stating she is taking Nathan to her father's house, and John immediately sets out to follow them. Elsewhere, Allie and Nathan stop at a looted pharmacy to find insulin. A gang enters and opens fire, but they manage to escape and hitch a ride with a couple heading north. However, the couple quickly turns on them. They forcibly remove Allie from the vehicle, steal her wristband, and drive off with Nathan, leaving her stranded on the highway. Meanwhile, John manages to find a ride in a truck heading toward Canada. A passenger named Colin tells him about private flights in Canada that are transporting people to secret military shelters in Greenland. Colin encourages John to find his family and meet him there. Tensions boil over when another passenger demands John's wristband. A violent struggle ensues, causing the truck to swerve and crash. Colin is killed in the wreck, and John is forced to kill the attacker in self-defense. Allie hitches another ride to a military post where Nathan's kidnappers were apprehended. Nathan had bravely alerted a soldier that the couple was not his family. Allie eventually finds her son in a medical tent, where he has finally received insulin. A compassionate nurse helps them find transport to her father's home. John breaks into a house for supplies and sees a news report. The final impact is less than 24 hours away. He secures a vehicle and finally reaches his father-in-law's house. They put aside their differences and begin a frantic search for Allie and Nathan. The family eventually reunites after Allie calls from a nearby gas station. Back at the house, they confirm the rumors about the Greenland shelters. John convinces Allie to make a final run for Canada. Unfortunately, Allie's father chooses to stay behind. As a fragment falls nearby, he gives John a firearm and says a final, emotional goodbye. During the drive, John and Allie reconcile and vow to stay together. They are caught in a debris shower and are forced to hide under a bridge. John risks his life to save a man trapped in a burning car before they continue their journey into Canada. On the radio, they hear the final warning. The planet killer will destroy over 75% of life on Earth. At the airfield, they spot a plane preparing for takeoff. John drives directly into its path to stop it, and they successfully convince the pilot to let them board. John drifts into a dream of better days as they fly toward the Arctic. They approach Greenland, which appears deceptively peaceful, until a fragment impacts the water, sending a shock wave that cripples the plane. The engines fail, and the pilot is forced into a crash landing on a glacier. While the pilots are pinned in the wreckage, John leads the survivors toward a nearby military base. They are rushed into the bunker just moments before the planet killer strikes. Deep underground, as they brace for impact, John has a final flashback to their life before the crisis. 9 months pass. The Earth is a desolate wasteland, with cities ruined completely. Suddenly, a radio signal breaks the silence, confirming that the atmosphere is clearing and radiation is low. The bunker hatches open to reveal the Garrity family has survived. In a world of ruins, they see a bird flying, a symbol of enduring hope. As the Earth is shown from space, radio signals confirm that survivors are emerging all over the globe. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more recaps.